Hey everybody, Mobile Gamers Unite. Man, this battle has just some of the best battle music in this game, don't you think? So I decided to start my video out on this. We're going to be talking about units that I don't use. And it's not to say that they're bad units. A lot of them are great. The thing is, it all depends on which pool you're investing into in the land of Langrisser, because there's different faction groups. So even if you have all of the characters and you just gotta catch them all, that doesn't mean that they're all going to be used evenly. This is a great example of this. This is one of the hardest boss fights for me because, well, I don't work on these factions. And I know you can't see him, but Elwin's tucked over here. So this is a great example because I think we're on turn 14 already, right? My party's managed to survive, but look how much damage I've managed to do to Cilia. None. I did have a heiress here, and she did die last turn. I do use heiress, however, she just got gobbled up, and everything is just a little bit subpar to be able to take this guy on. My juggler's not quite where he should be. Cher isn't doing enough damage. She's not hitting hard enough. I think she's only got 1,000 attack. Elwin here. Elwin's only got about 900 attack. So this is problematic. But these are all characters that I don't work on. That's not to say that I'm not going to do anything with them. And after this fight, we'll kind of take a look at the characters that I don't play. I just ran this today just to kind of see how I'm doing up against this content. With content like this where I don't have a strong faction group, I'm happy enough just to clear the level 55 content, and that way I can farm it. Obviously, with all the fights that use the main factions that I use, I've cleared the 65 content. So all in all, my farming is great because I get to farm everything across the board. Most of the time I can farm off of a level 65 level, but sometimes, you know, when you just don't have that faction, it's not that powerful, you have to farm the level 55 level. And like I said, I just wanted to go into this one just to kind of see how I'm doing with level 60 content with this party. Obviously, they have quite a ways to go. Like, let's try to hurt this guy with Juggler. Oh, he healed 12. And I just leveled up the vampire bats. What the heck? Oh, and our Elwin goes down. And we're gonna... Yeah, Cher's only at 1,023 attack. So these characters can actually be amazing. Like Juggler becomes one of the strongest tanks, and with his helm, you can have an extra skill point slot on him. Joshua is an amazing... Well, that's the thing too. Joshua I use, but he's being worked on. So he's not a complete character by any means. I brought him to this fight just to kind of see how he's doing. He does have the extreme magic bow. He's really not that bad off. I just need to star him up. So I can't say that I don't use all of these characters. I don't use most of them. Joshua I will run from time to time, but I really want to star him up to make him a little bit more deadly. And I want to run him with Estelle because I've already said a few times I think Estelle is highly underrated. And if you actually... Mine's almost 5-star. I think when she gets to 5-star... I'll actually start using her more, taking it a little bit more seriously with her. So, oh yeah, and the game ran out. At least we finished with a troop on the table. Cher managed to scrape by and get away, I guess. So let's have a look at these characters real quick and just kind of see how they're at, because even though I don't invest into these characters, surprisingly, they're at a pretty good power level, or there's no way they would even manage to make it through that fight. They would just get wiped on the second turn. The rotation is different for level 60 Cilia. She does a different summon on turn 1. She's definitely an upgrade from the 55. Obviously, all of them are, but Cilia really stands out to me. So, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. I'm looking at some of the factions that I don't use and some of the characters that I don't invest into just to see, well, what can I scrape by with these characters? Because I want to be able to farm everything. And we will start with Elwyn, of course. A lot of people's favorites. A very powerful character, can keep himself healed and do tons of damage. Mine is only at 4,288 power. But that's not that bad because a lot of people that have Elwyn that don't use him, he's sitting at 1,200. So I at least am using them for something. He can be upgraded. The Dragon Slayer Graham, I'm working on that. Other than that, this is what a lot of the characters that I don't use look like. Because I threw something at him so I could use him for Guild Wars and stuff like that. This Elwyn is great for Guild War content. No problem at all. He clears everything. We have Elwyn. Here's my Estelle. I have to add her to this list because I'm not using her yet. I have 93 out of 100 shards for her. As soon as I get that other star, I'm going to take her up to 5,000 and actually start using her. I do have some interesting gear for her. The Holy Ark works amazing for her. I don't know if I'm going to leave the Throne Guardian. I just put it into play because it's actually the only Throne Guardian I've ever pulled. I don't think this is a rare weapon. I could be wrong though. It's just maybe the only one that I've seen so far. So, and I think the carbon fiber armor works all right for her because it does increase her attack after she takes damage. And Estelle has enough defense and a high hit point pool to actually take advantage of this. She can take some damage and she can stay there for a while. And she can be very offensive with it too. So it's just something that I'm trying out. Obviously, there's other armors for her. This is just one that I happen to have at level 50. So, and again, she's at about 4,200. But she is going to be used. Here's the share that I was running. I think share is only about 50% bonded. She is at 4,500. And I know I have to work on share. I know I have to get her attack up just to clear content, just to clear certain bosses. She's also a very fun character to play. Alright, she's the princess version of Leon. That's the way I've always looked at her. Shellfish Girl, Shelfaniel, 4,200. That seems to be the magic number for me for characters that I don't use. I get them right to 4,200, maybe 4.5. Shelfaniel is very useful. I still use her to clean out the goblin stage. I do have her sister too. I don't think her sister is as strong as her because I like to use this girl as an AoE mage, and also her fusion power is very good when you're running Lana with her. Next we have Luna. My Luna is only at 4,000 power level, and this is her gear. A lot of work to be done here. Luna's a very powerful character. It's just not in the stars for me to use her right now. I mean, I can get a pretty decent princess team together, and Luna's definitely a big part of that. I can also upgrade her gear and level it up quite a bit. So she's at 4K. I've already taken some better gear off of her and given it to some other characters, but I still like to keep my Luna powered up at least to 4,000 or 5,000 because Guild War content, she can clear a ton of it. Let's see. Liana. Liana is the second to last healer that I just got because I did get Weiler, and he's more of a teleporter than a healer. But Liana, I did invest into her a little bit. I've cleared level 65 content with this girl. I cleared one of the specialty maps where we were fighting the Trails and the Sky Heroes to get the special skins for Estelle to have her little soldiers. I just think these things look awesome. She makes the Amazon champions just look sweet. They have that trail in the sky vibe to them, and I absolutely love when Estelle runs these Amazon champions. Might not always be the best idea to run Amazon champions, but for a unit like Estelle, I think that's why they came out with the skin, because she really does benefit from running Amazon champions because Estelle is an attacker. And these are one of the few Lancers that really get a bonus their attack increases when they're attacking, and they have a 60% chance to reduce the enemy's defense by 20%. So, you know, other characters like Elwyn have to use a skill to do that. So if you could get that to proc right off of her troops and their percentage to their attack goes up, to me, I love attacking with these guys with Estelle, and I definitely am going to be building up Estelle. She might get the Y branch on her to ignore armor, and I might re-roll her rune set just to make her move more and do more damage. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to have to find the fine balance for her. So, but Liana, I've powered up a little bit. I want her to just be able to take one freaking hit and survive and just use Act Again twice throughout the battle. She does make things interesting. I did just clear the level 65. It's not the Amazon chick. It's not Cilia. Well, what's the other one? The dragon dude. I just put the video up. Liana's a huge help in that. Without her and Ronny, I wouldn't have been able to clear the level 65 dragon. Really, he's not a dragon. He's a, what is he, a drake? I don't know. Regardless, her Act Again ability, you know, I want to invest into this girl, but resources are tight. But I still find myself using her from time to time. My healer game is lacking, though. Of course, we have Lanford here. Lanford I powered up because I can run the strategist team because I have a pretty strong Altamüller. Lanford is very powerful. He's at 3-star. He's at 4,000, and it didn't really take much to get him here. This is his gear set that I'm working on. Obviously, things can be swapped out, no biggie, but he still serves his job. He absolutely creams Guild War, does a fantastic job. So that's primarily where I use him. Geralt and Layla, I just upgraded these guys because I think they're fun to play. If you have the right gear on these guys, you have to have Gift of Eternal Life, which is kind of a rare item, and I am going to put some stock into that. But these guys actually do really good in Guild War, and now they're doing a lot better because I did spend the Runestone. I'm using Layla's tree because she can do more healing. So pretty much this character's healing is kind of subpar until you give it a Gift of Eternal Life. But what is very important is that every time these characters activate their AoE healing for everybody, and they're only healing you for like 6 to 1,000 hit points, which isn't much, but they get rid of one debuff on you. That is the biggest change that they've made to this character, and I absolutely love that. For some stages, like say you're going to the Red Dragon, if you have this character built and you have Gift of Eternal Life, which doesn't have, you know, range on it, this character can pretty much keep your party healed as long as you're smart about it and you attack. And of course I run sorceresses with them, so they do decent damage with Layla, but you can keep people healed while doing damage, and you can keep getting rid of debuffs on all of your heroes every time Geralt and Layla attack. So I built them up a little bit, at least got them to 4K. I've been playing around with them since they've changed them. They're a much stronger character now just because of the support that they've added to them, and they do wonders in Guild War. So I will actually be working on them a little bit because I really like that Dispel. And then, of course, we have Angelina. She's only at 4K, and this is what my Angelina has. I use her for Guild Wars. But I gotta say, one of my guildies, Petey, has the strongest Angelina on this server. I've shown you guys a video of her. It is just absolutely ridiculous how strong, how much defense this character can have. She can just be a freaking juggernaut out there. So I do want to work on her. She is part of my princess team. My princess team is only 4 to 5K though. My empire, they're all sitting at like 6 up to 6.5. So I do fancy the princess team, and that's why I've still kind of been working on Cher and everybody. This guy right here, I do plan to use Sigma. I like his sniper game. This one's only at 4K just so I could review him and play him. I'm trying to get shards for him every day. It's only a few shards, but this character really shines when he's at 6-star, and you can activate his talent all the time. On top of that, I would have Ulra's bow on him right now, but I have him in his infantry class just because I'm going through and classing him up. So I'm definitely going to be using this guy. He proves that you can have such an awesome setup that you don't need an S stat to absolutely destroy people. This guy will snipe people with an A stat and he will kill them. So that's what I really like about him. But he does have to be taken to 6-star to really, really be effective. Here's a good one for you guys. Here's my let-in, right? He's not even at 4K. And troops too. I mean, the Lance Felixes that I run are only level 6 or 7. That's because I have everything invested into golems for Bernie. You know, the lava titans, and I personally just like the golems. They look cool. Bernie looks like a freaking madman that just broke out of hell with these golems, and he just looks gnarly with them. So that's just kind of what I went with, and it works for me. But let-in can be super effing nasty and have super high stats, and Lance Felixes are amazing, and the new skin looks great for them. I will eventually get that. But I got 38 shards for him, so you can tell that when I first got let-in, I did kind of start working on him at first because I didn't have any Empire, but that quickly changed. So, here is the gear that I have for him. Pretty basic. It's not even all SSR gear, but guess what? He still does alright for Guild Wars. This let-in's great, and he looks stylish too. And remember, these are characters I just do not use. Weiler, I have plans for this guy. I will use this guy. He's only at 3,500 power level, but just like Liana, if you're playing this guy right, he's a slippery bastard. He's always going to get away, and he can teleport and pull people to him. He can do a lot of bait and switch, right? When somebody's going after Weiler, he can just be like, oh, teleport everyone to me. Oh, you thought you were going to get me one-on-one? You're surrounded. So he brings so much utility. I'm going to be working on this guy, but resources are scarce, and I have him good enough to use right now for what I'm doing with him. So that's kind of where he's at. This is the last healer that I got, obviously. Heiress was the first. And we're just going to go over SSR characters, because obviously SR characters and R characters, mine are somewhat built up, 3,000, 3,000. Even the characters that I don't use, I at least try to get them to 3K just for the simple sake of Guild Wars. Healers, I don't really care what their total power is. Their intelligence, I try to invest into a little bit, so at least that their heals somewhat count. And, you know, most of these characters are just for Guild Wars. That's all I'm ever going to use them for. Lamba I've invested into a little bit. She's at 4,500. I just like the way that she plays, and I like Yles. I don't have Gizaroff, so I don't have that faction, or else I would run her and Basel and Gizaroff and see what all I could get away with that. But hey, I'll get that guy eventually. Gizaroff and Sarita are the only two characters I'm missing. And I'll tell you guys something funny about that. Here's Ronny. I definitely use Ronny. Trying to get her to 5-star right now. Have a long way to go. She's not even 5K, but she just helped me clear a level 65 boss fight. So that was great. Obviously, Leonhardt and everything above. These are characters I do plan on using. This Leonhardt is almost at 5-star, so he'll just about be usable soon. But I do have the right gear for him. I have the Converter and the Reaper's Breath to go with it. The range on Reaper's Breath increases with the Converter, so it's amazing. And Thor's Necklace, that can just kind of be swapped out or anything. I got that sitting there in case I want him to go up against, you know, have some single target extra damage, because he's going to drop his AoEs, and then when he attacks somebody in close quarters combat and has to like single somebody out, sometimes Thor's Necklace helps. Most of the time it doesn't, because it's only level 30, but hey, I can always swap that out for something else. The important thing here is that I have the Converter and I have the Reaper's Breath. And it has 11% attack, 7% hit points, and 44 hit points. That's not that bad. It's not that bad for a Converter at all. Would love to have gotten 15% attack, but hey. So, and then everything above Landius here. Landius is just such a freaking powerhouse character. and I love the skin for him. I play him on my alt account, and originally I wasn't going to invest too much into him here, but I can't even help it. He's almost at 5k. He is just that powerful. I can level up a lot of his stuff. The Chief's helmet, the Seal Guardian. I like the Elven belt on him. But I will be running this guy eventually because I want to run him with Lamba and all that. So my Mylist team, even on this account, is somewhat coming along. It's definitely more powerful than the team that you guys just watched me run with Cher and Joshua was there. But this Joshua, he's at 4,600. He does have the extreme magic bow, but I definitely have to work on everything else for him. But I am going to be running Joshua and Estelle. I think they're great for PvP. I can't wait, especially because I got extreme magic bow for him. But once I got him to like 4,500, I decided to just let him chill for a little bit while I work on my top 5. So they have a ways to go. Even Joshua is at 4.5 stars. So he's getting there. And of course Rachel. She's at 5k, but it's funny, the Rachel on my alt account is stronger because she is a 6-star. So, but even this Rachel, this is how much respect I have for Rachel and how much I love her mechanics and how she plays. Her and Landius, she's at 5k, he's right under it. I absolutely love it. I love Rachel. And I have the Holy Grail for her. I have Oliver's staff so she can throw some kind of debuff on, make enemies take more damage. And all in all, she will be getting ran, obviously, with... The plan is to run her with Landius and Lambada and her. And if I wanted to, Ronny and Mylist. My Mylist, even though I don't really use her that often, she's at 5.5k. I am probably going to build this girl. I am going to get her to a 5-star. I definitely love Listel's mechanics, and we all know I love sweet, sweet Granny Mylist. She looks pretty damn good with this skin on, too. I could go without the bouquet of flowers, but hey, it's pretty dope. So, she gets used. I put her in when I need her to mess with somebody's healing. So she's always up and ready. No quarrels with my Mylist. Absolutely love this girl. And then we have more, I mean, all these SR characters, they're going to be at like 4,000 except for Matthew, and they're going to be pretty much for Guild Wars except for Olivier. Olivier is at 4k, and I can run him with, he has Aura's bow, and I can run him with my Empire team. Even though he's a low power level, it doesn't matter because he's primarily supporting and giving that buff, and he's healing, he's making enemies do less damage and making you take less damage. And I have the Judge's Talisman on him just so he can step out and snipe a holy unit, and he will. With Aura's bow and the Judge's Talisman, even though he's at kind of a low power level, 3, 4, 5. He's at 500 attack base without any, buffing or anything. When this guy is fully buffed and good to go, he's still hitting with 800 attack. With the Judge's Talisman, that's plenty enough to take out a holy unit that can't retaliate to you because he's got a 3-block attack range and they only have 2. Or 2 and 1. You guys know what I mean. Because of Aura's bow. So that's kind of where I left this guy. I do want to work on him a little bit just because his utility is so great. Put him with Heiress and Bernie, and everyone's taking less damage and barely getting scratched. Other than that, we have Fariq, who I got up to 4k. I love Fariq. I want to use her. Let me show you guys something. She has last rites on her. This is the second pair of last rites I have. She also has the Seductress Dagger, which I've only seen one of these. I don't even know if I have one on my alt. So, to me, this dagger is kind of rare. Last rites is obviously rare. So I have some good gear for this girl. She can really rock the freaking house, especially with last rites, because she auto-heals herself and she can stay at 100% hit points. She can go twice very easily. If you know how to play her, she can rain down some major damage. And if your enemy gets some kind of buff that's super powerful, she can steal it from them, and then she can just be invincible, especially with last rites and her healing. I used her to beat a level 65 map when she was completely underpowered, just because she was able to steal buffs that weren't fair. So even though she was only level, 3,000 power level, she still helped me clear a level 65 map, and she actually did most of the work in that map. She stole an enemy's buff, made it so that they couldn't kill her, and she tied 3 of those enemies up for quite a few turns while my party managed to get some of the enemies one by one, pin them down, and take them out that way. So I've already seen how effective Fariq can be. Decided to start investing into her because I like her playstyle. And this is the funny part. I said, you know what? I don't have a Sarita. And because I have Fariq and I like her so much, I'm not really worried about not having a Sarita all that much, right? Let me show you guys why that bit me in the ass and what kind of like halted all my progress on Fariq. In fact, I don't even have to show you. I could tell you. To unlock Fariq's last bonds, which is attack and skill, and that extra 10% at the very makes all the difference in the world. So really, to get Fariq at her fullest, you gotta have Sarita. What kind of freaking sense does that make? I mean, I was happy to get Fariq because I was like, well, I don't have any assassins at the time. I don't have a Sarita, so now at least I got Fariq. Why would I have to pull an SSR assassin to unlock an SR assassin? Brah! So that's just the way it is. They really want Sarita to be the queen of assassins, and even to unlock abilities for other assassins that they just kind of gave us, you still need Sarita there. If I ever do pull Sarita, the first thing I will do is use her to unlock Fariq's abilities. And Sarita might even sit on a bench for a while. I probably would build Sarita up to run with Sherry and that whole Meteorite faction. Truth is, I really like Fariq, and at first I wasn't tripping about Sarita because I pulled Joshua, but now I realize Joshua and Fariq, or not Fariq, Joshua and Sarita are the opposite spectrums of the rogue class. Joshua does AoE and fixed damage, a ton of it, and he's mobile. And Sarita does single target and is really good at doing a lot of damage to one unit, one single target. So they're on the opposite sides of the spectrum, especially when you stop to consider that as soon as you give Joshua the extreme magic bow and that type of build, they really become polar opposites of each other, because then Joshua runs guard infantry. He has a close quarters combat troop with him. He does not want to use his ranged attack unless kind of he has to. You're going to do more damage by attacking people up close with Joshua, with guardian infantry, and with extreme magic bow. Sarita's the exact opposite. You're going to want to stay away, and you're going to want to attack people from a distance. So fundamentally, they're different, just the way they're played and everything. So I couldn't just say, well, I got Joshua now, that role's fulfilled. Because truth be told, if I really want a powerful single target attacker assassin, Sarita's kind of the go-to girl. Fariq is right there with her, but you need Sarita to unlock Fariq's last bonds. So, man, that's how I feel about that. And then we have Diehard, who I just started up because I pulled him. I pulled him off of this last banner trying to get Gizer off. An SSR came down, I was actually happy, and it was Diehard. Diehard, he's at 3,000. He's going for Guild War. That's it. And I gotta even be careful on which Guild War levels I run him, because he's only at 3,000 power. My guild does run very hard Guild War, or hard, one of the two. So Diehard, I need to save him for one of the lower levels. Here is Heiress. She's at 5 stars, so her healing is finally becoming dependable. I do use this girl whenever I need to use a healer, and I oftentimes try to run without a healer. It's just more fun for me. But sometimes you need her. I got her. I got the skin for her that I really like. I have been working on this girl You can see I'm trying to farm out shards just to try to even get her to 6-star. So if I ever need a healer, she's my go-to. I just really like how she works and how she, yeah, everything, how she supports, the way that her heal works. There's a lot of times, obviously, where you can move up and attack with her and use sorceresses and still do some decent damage while applying your passive healing buff to everybody around you. So love the way she plays. It's my go-to girl. Here's Juggler. Juggler, I pulled a couple of them trying to get a Sarita. Obviously, I pulled a few Jugglers. I didn't realize Juggler would be as strong. I've seen tank Jugglers that are ridiculous. This one's under 5,000. I will be working on Juggler just because of what he can do as a standalone unit. The fact that he can heal everybody after taking damage, and that's built into his talent. The fact that he can get that hat to increase. And look, this guy barely has one SSR item, and it's a freaking giant's belt. And he's still right under 5k, and he does pretty good. For Guild Wars, he crushes. This is all I need. So for now, that's just kind of where Juggler is. He's in a metamorphosis stage. And then other than that, everybody else is either a key player for my account. These are my content clears. Leon, Bernie, Basil, Alt. I think only, well, none of these characters are finished. They're all like 80% bonded, and most of their gear is topped off. And that's why these characters are around 6,000 to 6,500 power level. Lana is the last main character that I'm working on, and she needs a few items leveled up. But this pretty much are the characters that I don't use. All of these SRs, Kirikaze at 4,000 can do a shit ton of damage when he's at 6-star. FYI, guys, Kirikaze is one of my favorite SR characters. But even all of these SRs are getting used for Guild War. And this is what my account looks like. And pretty much the progress I've made. Yeah, nothing really that much here more to note. The SR characters I'll keep using for Guild Wars. I think once we go up a difficulty, I think I will probably invest more into the SR characters then. But this is pretty much my main account and how I've been clearing everything. When it comes to content, I'll run Empire or Dark Reincarnation. My Basil still has a ways to go. I know I can get him to 7,000 power level, and I will be doing that because I love Baz. He's sweet, and I had to get the skin for him. So that's how my units look that I don't use. They're still at 4 to 5k because, you know, I want them ready for, well, for getting resources. Right? Some of the boss fights that we go to, you either have to use this faction or this faction. And that's kind of why I have my characters powered up the way that I do. Other people have some SSRs that are at like a 12 power level because they didn't even bother leveling them up. I will at least level up every single character I get. I guess the best way to say it is I like to have the complete chess set to play with, even if all the pieces aren't all powered up. And I do fancy myself somewhat a collector. It's just nice to have some of these characters. So, that being said, Sakura Wars, I'm on my way, baby. Already thinking about it. I want Sakura. I want Sakura because she goes in with my Empire team, and I think I can have a lot of fun with her. So, Mobile Gamers Unite, that's what I'm looking forward to. Alright, and I hope you all get what you're looking forward to, right? Whatever your young heart desires. I pray that it be for you. Mobile Gamers Unite, you guys have an awesome day. These are the characters I don't use, so just figured it'd be an interesting video because we're always highlighting and talking about characters that we have stock into that are powerful, that we've built up. But I just kind of wanted to show off the other side of the spectrum to my main account, the units that I don't run and that I don't use, and the weakest units that I have on my account. And they're still being used, they're still earning me resources. I guess, in my personal opinion, as long as you can clear the level 55 contents to keep mining materials, then you're good. You know, obviously, some of the boss battles and stuff you're going to be able to excel in, and you're going to be able to do the level 65s because you put stock into that faction. But for the most part, I think you can have an awesome gaming experience in this game as long as you can clear everything at level 55, and what you can excel in, yeah, clear the level 65 out and get more resources when that fight comes up every week. That's about the best we can all do, and this is how I've done it, and I'm still working at it. So, Mobile Gamers Unite, I hope this helped anybody out. If anyone's got any questions or you want to say something, you got something to say, let me know. Leave me a comment. Hit like, hit subscribe. Have an awesome day, everybody.